There we go. Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night here at the BTA Network, and that means it's time for political catch-up. It's our weekly roundup of all things political, and I'll tell you right now, not everything's good news as of today, but we'll help you learn along with it. And as usual, we don't do this once a week. We let the pros do it every day. So,
Exactly.
anyway, anyway, I am Oddball Extreme, and with me is the master and creator Frodo. Hello, Frodo.
Hello. So before we really get going here, I want to say one thing. Um, uh, our good friends on the show, Mike and Ash, also known as Joker and Oracle, are currently celebrating their 5th year of being together.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to mention congratulations to
Mm-hmm.
them for sticking together for so long, and
Yep.
here's to you two troublemakers having another 5 years.
Yep. Cheers. Of course, it's water.
But yeah, I just figured I'd say that first.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, yeah, today's political catch up, and we're gonna start off, I think, with the bad news because it's gonna suck.
Yep.
But the big beautiful bill, as Trump likes to call it, has been has been passed by the Senate, but because there were plenty of edits made between the Senate and the House versions, it has to go back
Back
to
to
the
the
House
house.
and
Mm-hmm.
be re-voted on. But based on what I'm hearing, the House has already made revisions to the revisions, so it's probably not going to meet Trump's arbitrary deadline, which is the 4th of July. So the chances of getting getting that out before the 4th is slim to none,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And of course, he won't be happy about that.
Yep. And also, Mr. Trump is having some existential problems with the fact that he's just not liked, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term.
Yep.
So, yeah. Um, and I'm going to put some stuff out there and explain a few things to everyone. So there's some discussions going on in the underground areas of the internet, and these are parts of the internet that if you don't know what goes on there, I would recommend avoiding the areas I'm talking about with with a fucking with a fucking fervor, because you don't want to be anywhere in some of these areas that I end up in when I'm doing research.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as what I've been hearing, there are members of Anonymous that have hacked a lot of the maggots, the mega, uh, extreme mega element of the
Mm-hmm.
parties,
Mm-hmm.
and those hacks have been looking like they're going to be pretty gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know what's coming? No, I do not know exactly what's coming. However, some of my contacts in the underground scene that this kind of stuff occurs in,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, I do have contacts there. I do not want to divulge anything. Just trust me when I say this, okay? I know that you guys always want proof positive, but I cannot provide proof of this just because of how sketchy and dangerous it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as I'm saying, there is some discussions about them having something something about that is almost guaranteed to get Trump uh in a lot of trouble,
Mm-hmm.
Trump and the rest of his cronies. So kind of keep an eye on things. As of right now, however, as of right now, they haven't released anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking because not only is Anonymous got a lot of stuff they want to uh kind of hold on to, but I'm thinking that there's plenty of other stuff going on that from like Iran that they kind of want to coordinate with Iran and stuff to get it sorted out so that
Mm-hmm.
when things do drop, it's going to be as devastating to the MAGA movement as it can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling. I'm not saying for sure that that's what's going to happen, but that's what I've been getting the feeling of. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I'm hopeful that whatever Anonymous has is devastating because I can think of a few things
Mm-hmm.
that would be pretty not bad for Trump. One of them could be the full um un unfiltered Epstein list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if that got released, and we all know he's going to be on there, but depending on who else is on there, could be an interesting situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
But I have a feeling that that's not really going to be the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is going to be collusion, but like big time collusion and money changing hands between and uh
The U.S.
Russia and the Trump administration
Mm-hmm.
because we all know, we're all pretty damn sure, even though we don't have direct proof of it, that Trump has been fucking around with the with Russia in ways that is not cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So just watch it.
Yeah. Here's something else we'll have to watch out for because this was actually posted yesterday. Trump administration will cut hurricane forecasters out of key satellite data at the end of July. I'm not kidding. Here's what's going on. The abrupt cutoff of satellite data crucial for hurricane forecasting is delayed by 1 month until July 31st, according to a message posted by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration yesterday. The impending data loss from a Department of Defense weather satellite system was announced on June 25th and slated to take place no later than Monday, according to an earlier NOAA announcement. The Defense Department will still maintain the Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, but announced last week it would cease sharing imagery with NOAA and NASA. Really? The decision, which was initiated by the Defense Department, caused an uproar among meteorologists, public officials, and the media in the midst of hurricane season. The fear is that the missing information could degrade the accuracy of hurricane forecasts. The move comes in the wake of steep personnel cuts at the National Weather Service and other parts of NOAA. The data in question is from a microwave sounder data known as the Special Sensor Microwave Imager Sounder, or SSMIS. This tool is like a 3D X-ray of tropical storms and hurricanes, revealing where the strongest rain bands and winds are likely to be and how they are shifting. Such imagery provides forecasters with information about a storm's inner structure and is one of the limited ways they can discern how quickly and significantly a storm's intensity is changing, particularly at night during the periods when Hurricane Hunter aircraft are not flying in the storm. According to a former NOAA employee familiar with the matter, the Defense Department's actions caught the nation's Weather and Oceans Agency off guard, along with NASA, whose scientists also used this satellite imagery. A current NOAA staff member also told CNN the agency, including the National Hurricane Center, was blindsided by the sudden data cut off when it was first announced. The delay through July, both sources said, is the result of pressure from NOAA and NASA officials. The new NOAA NASA supports this, stating late on Friday, June 27th, CNMOC received a request from Dr. Germain with NASA to postpone the removal and to continue processing and distributing DMSP data through July 31st. An update service advisory will be sent, and FNMOC now expects to decommission DMSP processing no later than July 31st, the message states, referring to the Navy's Fleet Numerological Meteorology and Oceanography Center. The satellite status message references Karen M. St. Germain, the division director for NASA's Earth Sciences Division. This indicates an intervening of a high-level official in this matter. The 1 month delay does not solve the issue since hurricane season peaks in August and September, and there currently is no plan in place for resuming the flow of this data, even when the new Defense Department weather satellite begins operations in October. Currently, NOAA is planning for that microwave imagery from the satellite will flow to the agency. According to media reports last week, the Defense Department's rationale for cutting off this data has to do with cybersecurity concerns stemming from the way the data is transmitted between agencies. NOAA has publicly maintained there are many other sources of data on hurricanes that will allow for accurate forecasts this season. The Atlantic hurricane season does not end until November 30th, and this season is expected to be another unusually active one. And that's the end of that story. And that's like, what the hell?
So, I know exactly why they're doing this. And I'm going to put some heavy air quotes around some of the phrases I'm going to use for very simple reasons. They are claiming that they're trying to prevent the expansion of ideas that are patently false, aka in their eyes, the idea of climate change. The only problem with that is you're basically taking off everyone in the United States' pants, forcing them all to bend over and prepare to take it up the ass. And that's a problem. It's just, it's not just the National Weather Service that depends on that weather data. It's also places like FEMA, the Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security,
yeah, but the Department of Defense is saying, no, we're not going to let you use our satellites anymore.
Yeah, but the problem is they're not the DoD's satellites. The Ghost constellation is not a DoD operation. The Ghost constellation is literally just, it's their civilian spacecraft, essentially. And for them to do what Trump is trying to do is just asinine at best.
I swear, I feel like everything's just gone crazy. Let's see. Trump admin is messing with Mother Nature. Yeah, you're right. It's like, Project 2025 is basically what this is boiling down to. Because they've been wanting to get rid of FEMA, they want to get rid of NOAA because it doesn't follow Trump. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but the problem with Project 2025 is not that it's so much Trump as much as it is I'm going it's a really fucking warped way of trying to appease uh the hardcore uh uh the hardcore Christian base.
Hmm.
And that's the problem, is that the in the hardcore Christian base
Mm-hmm.
doesn't realize that everything they support with regards to what Trump is doing
Mm-hmm.
is ass backwards to what it should be. They should, the Christian base, as Jesus once said, treat your na- treat your neighbor as yourself, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh fuck. Go. Would you have anything new on our story?
Well, I mean, so much. Of course, let's see the big. Let's see. We talked about the big, beautiful bill, and we were kind of hoping, hoping against hope. But unfortunately, the vice president was the one who broke the tie. It was a 50-50 tie, but of course, the vice president gets to uh, basically be the tiebreaker. It's not the first time that's happened. I mean, Kamala Harris did it at another
A few
situation.
times.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, but it's still they. He's using congress his constitutional power to basically ramrod every single person with disabilities
Mm-hmm.
in the ass. Well, every single person, I said, honey. Yeah, it's just it's just asinine because everything that's gone on
Uh-huh.
since the the start of the fucking since Trump got inaugurated, everything has just been asinine at best.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Mm. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Something else. Trump unveils $249 Trump fragrances. Yes, it's perfume and cologne.
I got a serious fucking question for
Okay.
anyone. Why the fuck would you want to smell like a man who probably smells like ass?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, serious talk here.
Oh yeah.
It just it sounds fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to smell like Trump, would you, Shirley?
Mm. Say it again. I'm
Shirley?
sorry.
I wouldn't want to smell like Trump, would you?
No. Hell no.
Maybe Sajo would like to smell like Trump.
Yeah.
I don't
What?
know.
Yeah. Well, get this. Official Trump fragrances are going to retail for $249. It's only a 3.3 ounce bottle. It's like, what the hell they put in there? Flecks of real gold?
Well, knowing Trump's proclivity to gold,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put it past his fucking narcissistic ass. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I mean, look at his fucking phone that he's releasing.
Yeah.
All it is a fucking Rebel 7 Pro with a fucking gold uh
Title.
gold coating, and the Rebel 7 Pro isn't that fucking impressive of a phone as far as I'm concerned. It's not that I'm mad at it, but it's just it's a good phone for getting people into a T-Mobile service, but it leaves a lot to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It leaves a lot of options on the table that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
A good example is my current phone is a OnePlus 8T, probably a 4-year old phone. I don't give a shit because it has enough storage and enough fucking power to make me happy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's crazy enough. He's got the phone. The reason I went 50-50 because Lisa Murkowski voted yes. Yep. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska.
It it's almost like these maggots don't realize that what they're doing is actively fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's like it's almost like, yeah, this won't happen to me. This won't happen to me. Then sooner or later, it does happen to you.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, God fuckers, do you not realize that this shit's gonna affect you? Like, it's stupid.
Hmm. I know. It's just I feel like the more we're trying to I try to avoid Trump as much as I can, but it's not always easy.
Well, we do our best during the episodes,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, Humpty Dumpty is literally gonna fall and he's gonna shatter. And I just got this fucked up feeling that when he falls, it's gonna be one of the most spectacular fails in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little bit of an update really quick that we I need to discuss really quick.
Okay.
Um, if you have Notepad plus plus, which is software that I recommend heavily because it's a really good notepad software on your computer, I would recommend that you upgrade it to the newest version ASAP. Um, because there is currently a exploit being used to fuck around with people's stuff. So the exploit can be used. I would say if you have Notepad plus plus, update it now, not
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, not next week. No, now. And if you do not have the update, I'm actually pulling up the information for me
Hmm.
so I could see it. Okay,
Okay.
because I use Notepad plus plus. So the current version of Notepad plus plus is version 8.8.1. If you have any version below 8.8.1 of Notepad++, update it immediately. Okay?
Mm.
Are you okay, Shirley?
I'm fine. Just tired. But no,
I understand. I understand being tired. I'm just saying
yeah.
because yeah.
Yeah. I apologize. But let's see. Okay, that big beautiful bill is going to cause some significant changes to student loan programs. Worrying advocates that borrowers will have to face higher monthly premiums or payments, I should say. The reconciliation bill revamps the types of student loan repayment plans available to borrowers, how much students will be able to borrow from the federal government, and how student loan deferment works. The massive package now heads back to the House. If passed in its current form, it will represent some of the biggest changes to the student loan system in years. So, what changes will be made? In its current form, student loan repayment options will dwindle down to two in the next few years. Multiple popular plans, such as the Biden administration's SAVE option, will be phased out in favor of either a new repayment assistance plan or a standard plan. Borrowers would have to choose one of the plans between July 2026 and July 2028. The standard plan would give a borrower a loan with a lifespan depending on the amount borrowed, typically between 10 and 25 years. The new repayment assistance plan would require 30 years of payments before student loan forgiveness is allowed, up from 20 to 25 years in previous options. The legislation also eliminates the Graduate Plus program, which allows students going to graduate or professional school to cover the full cost of attendance. Instead, a cap of $100,000 will be put on lifetime loans for graduate students and $200,000 for medical and law students. Parent Plus loans will also be capped at $65,000 and will not be eligible for repayment programs. Borrowers struggling to repay their loans will no longer be able to defer due to unemployment or economic hardship, but it would also give borrowers the ability to rehabilitate defaulted loans twice instead of the current one time that is allowed. Other changes include eligibility for Pell Grants, excluding those who receive full rights to a university, and adding individuals who enroll in workplace training programs. And the last one, President Trump and I want to preserve the American dream for working and middle class Americans, said Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, the chair of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. We keep taxes low, cut taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security, extend the child tax credit, fix our broken education system, support our military, secure our border, and build a business environment that creates better paying jobs, especially in Louisiana, Cassidy added. Now, what does this mean for the borrowers themselves? We'll have to switch their plans over a 2 year period, with those currently on an income based repayment plan able to keep their 20 to 25-year window for forgiveness. Payments made under old plans would still count toward the timeline for new plans, but advocates warn the new plan will raise the monthly payments for most borrowers. This reconciliation bill will be catastrophic for millions of Americans by restricting access to higher education and exacerbating the student debt crisis for both federal and private student loans. Student Debt Crisis Center President Natalia Abrams said, "While it is difficult to imagine how much worse the student debt crisis can become, the reconciliation bill does exactly that." Pardon me a second. That's better. Yeah. The changes to the student loan deferment will leave borrowers experiencing hardship in a precarious situation, as the repayment assistance plan gives no option to reduce payments down to zero during times of struggle. Advocates worry the caps on federal lending for graduate students who will also turn prospective students away from higher education or push them toward private loans, which come with higher interest rates and can be difficult for some to obtain. This bill is a dangerous attack on students, working families, and communities across the country. By gutting financial aid programs, shredding the student loan safety net, weakening protections, and pushing millions of students and families into the riskier and more expensive private student loan market, policymakers are doubling down on a rigged system where a quality higher education is reserved for the richest Americans, while the rest of us are left to fend for ourselves and forced to take on a life of policy director for Students Borrower Protection Center.
The worst part for me, just as someone who likes when we have a a bunch of highly educated people is that these people who are doing this are acting like it's doing something great for this country. And I'm sorry, last time I checked, taking away from people who actually want to become educated
Mm-hmm.
is a problem. And the only reason they're doing this, Shirley, and it really it's hard it's hard to uh quantify this, but I can quantify it very easily. Um, the only reason they're doing this shit is because they want the American voters to be stupid, because the more stupid the American voter is, as far as like being able to reason and make decisions based on logical reasoning and stuff, the more dumb a voter is, the easier they are to manipulate. And that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
The less a person thinks about uh the less a person is able to think logically about things, the more easily they fall into place, the more easily they listen to the person in charge, the less they believe what other people tell them, and the more that it just it it hurts the American voter in
Mm-hmm.
more ways than you can even imagine. And that's the problem, because there's so many reasons that having an uneducated voter vote pool is horrible for everyone. And the biggest thing is, when and this is a general terminology, this is not, this is how you're going to vote. This is just in general. Okay. Generally speaking, the more educated you are, the less you fall for the bullshit like uh trickle down economics,
Mm-hmm.
because you can see from your mental aptitude that trickle down just doesn't work. Wake up. Wakey wakey.
Mm. Sorry.
I get you're tired. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying not to stuff, but here's one of the biggest problems. When I take a shower, that really zonks me out.
Yeah, I understand that. And that's why I'm not yelling at you, Nat. Why I'm not mad. I'm just, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
no,
it, yeah.
it's
But
just
okay.
to go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. It's just all this crap going on with Trump trying to basically mess everything up in everybody's lives. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy that people don't think about things. They, the problem comes down to that most people don't think about what all the possibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
So they just assume that people like Trump are like our president. And I'm not even just going to say Trump, but I'm going to go with that people like the president are in it for the betterment of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, and especially in Trump's case, he's not in it for the betterment of anybody except for his own damn pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's all. That's what it is. It's like they're. It's a big old grift. That's all it is.
Yep.
It's a grift.
Yep.
But
It's been a big old grift, and that's the
that,
problem.
yeah, I feel like it's been a big old grift since he first came down that escalator in 2015.
Yeah. Well, it's been 10 years.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a big old grift. And the reason it's been a big old grift is because there are plenty of people in A, government, and
Mm-hmm.
B, in the voting populace that think that he is this great person. I personally, I look at him and I see stupidity at its best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I look at him and all I see is that
The movie Dumb and Dumber, or
no, not Dumb and Dumber, because at least Dumb and Dumber was somewhat funny.
mm-hmm.
This shit is scary,
Mm-hmm.
to be frank.
Yep.
We've rolled back as a nation. We've rolled back to the 19 fucking 50s almost,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the era in which dumbass thinks was when we were the greatest. The problem with the 1950s, even 1940s, is that that's when people were treated like they were less than human.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Women had just gotten their fucking voice not too long ago, and at that point it was barely barely where African American people got a voice. Wake up, wake up.
Oh.
But yeah, it's sad because there's so many people that deserve to have a right to be seen, be able to be smarter, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You're still sleepy.
I know. I try to stay awake, but I feel like I feel like I'm so almost scared. What's next? You know, what
Yeah,
the hell is next? Because it's like we got Trump this, Trump that, Trump, 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 Trump. I feel like jump, 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 jump. It's like shut up, please.
and and again, this whole thing is just asinine at best.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Shirley?
Mm.
Are you dead?
I think so. It's just there's so much, but it's just we covered the more relevant stuff. You know,
Yeah, the
but like I
problem
said,
is there's too much.
yeah,
Um,
and we can't really
and
cover. And by the way, we do leave that to the pros because we can't really do it because I have a job. I can't do it during the day. So.
and I may be having a job here soon myself, so
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah. But before we go, I just want to say I'm really really happy about this. I have type 2 diabetes. When I went to see my endocrinologist in February, my A1C was a whopping 11.3. Okay? Now, after getting on the Manjaro and, watching what I eat, not eating too much, especially candy and junk food, she said my A1C dropped all the way to 7.
which is a good number.
I know. I mean, she said it's like right on that cusp of, trying to lower it a little bit. It's like, if I can just keep going like this, maybe I won't have to. But I mean, that's up to me, though. I've got to be the one doing the work. And the same thing with everybody else who's got type 2 diabetes. It's doable. You just got to do the work. You can't just wish for it. You can't just, say, hey, I'll just take this and so forth. Don't starve yourself. That doesn't do any good either. But it's all about eating. You can eat what you like, but do it in moderation. That's part of the key. And drink a lot of water. Don't drink too much soda.
So I'm gonna say a couple things to Sajo, who's in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the big beautiful bill has to go back uh to the house, but
Mm-hmm.
since they've already made edits to that bill, to the new bill, they gotta do the whole process over again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be a back and forth, which thank God.
Yeah, thank God I will not make it by the 4th of July deadline.
Yep.
Unless they burn the midnight oil or something.
True.
Yeah, but I mean, all we can do is just live our lives as best we can. Is it easy? No. I mean, no matter which side you're on, it's not easy. It won't be easy. And I'll tell you this, one thing I'm not happy about is alligator Alcatraz in Florida.
I'm just I'm sickened by that whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, why? You're just trying to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
all it is.
Yeah. He's saying make America great again. Sorry, he's making America hate again.
And that's the problem, is that that's how he thinks America is great,
Mm-hmm.
is through discord and division. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is, it's not. What makes America great is not discord, division, and making it all about uh us versus them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about making people
Mm-hmm.
better. It's all about making others better.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
honest to God, this kind of shit pisses me off.
I know. Me too. But it's like, I try my best. Here's the most important thing for me. I've got friends and coworkers who post, things I don't agree with, but instead of, saying, "Oh no, I don't agree with you. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong," I just don't post it. I just don't post anything out of respect. Because my rule of thumb is this: I always leave the politics outside the office.
Yep.
Because when we got to go to work, we're all part of the same team. We all have a job to do. We've got to get the job done. It was like that at my old job, too. So, I mean, yeah, politics may be important, but if you got a job to do, don't even worry about it.
Yep.
Well, all right. So, I can even call it a night. Now, if you want other information, there are plenty of YouTubers who do this every day professionally. So, but we're not professionals here. All right. So anyway, this is a plan. Tomorrow night I will be doing Happy Color, and then on Thursday we're doing Trivia Night. Since of course Friday is the 4th of July, and we don't have a show. So that's basically our plan for the rest of this unusual week. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the ending if that's okay with you, Frodo.
Go for it, and I'm gonna bounce.
All right. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a great night. Sleep well. Stay safe. I will see you tomorrow for Happy Color, and the rest of us will see you for Trivia Night on Thursday.